Welcome back. What you wear and what you post says an awful lot about who you are. You may not realize it, but it's all part of your personal brand.
And here to help us get the right message out are entrepreneurs Gloria, Roheim, McRae, and Ricardo McRae. And happy birthday, Ricardo.
Birthday.
Thank you very much. A great way to spend my birthday.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start with the basics. What you wear, what you post. So I'm wearing a braid, and the last thing I posted on Twitter was a conversation I overheard in the bathroom stall. So what does that say about my personal brand? And what is a personal brand?
Well, the easiest way to think about it is a personal brand is how other people feel about you. So you have way more control over that than you might think.
Including bathroom stall stuff.
Okay, so hers was fine.
It was perfectly fine. It says a lot of things about you. You do gossip, so it's completely in line with exactly what it is that you do. But you can also think about it as everything that you do and you don't do to craft what other people think about you.
Right.
So it's inescapable.
Okay, so obviously people in the public eye, like Lainey and myself, need to think about what their personal brand is, but you say that everyone needs to be concerned about it. Why is this?
Well, you have a brand anyway, so why not use this superpower to your benefit? If you think about it, if you're a new graduate, if you are somebody looking for a promotion or you're committed to a cause, you can use your brand to further that.
Okay.
So we're going to say that if I wanted to find out about gossip, I'm going to come to you. If I wanted to find out something about my sex life, you're going to be the person
girl.
I'm going to
Yes,
speak
okay.
to. Yeah.
One.
That's a really good brand to have.
Or maybe I'm
Yeah, and combining our brands, gossip and sex? Come on now.
All right.
Come on.
Powerhouse.
It's like vodka soda right there. Okay.
So is it true that we all have a personal brand, whether we like it or not?
This is awesome because everyone that we talk to will say, well, you know, I don't post online and I'm sort of hiding. And I'm like, well, what does that tell me about you? What are you hiding? You know? And so whether you post or whether you don't post, it's saying something about you anyway. And Ricardo always says that branding is kind of like a boom and an echo. So you put out the boom, whether you think you're putting it out or not, and the echo you get back from people, what they say back to you, is what you know that you're effectively telling them. So, hey, if someone tells you about your bathroom stall moment, you know they've been listening.
You know, it's so true what you're saying, too, because I've actually gone on some people's Twitter feeds, and if a lot of their comments are generally negative, I can imagine that employers also might go on that and see, okay, well, you're actually somebody who likes to be really negative all the time. So you are right. In every way, we are being perceived as our brands.
Now we are.
Always.
Okay, so if you don't know what your brand is, are there ways to discover yourself? How do you find yourself?
Finding
mysterious.
yourself. A great way to do that, and a tip I like to tell people is ask your friends. Go to your friends and say, what can you count on me for?
Okay.
What am I good at? Ask your mom, ask people you work with. And what you're going to do is look for trends. You know, somebody's going to say something bad, don't take it personally, but really look for trends and patterns over time, and that is actually the echo that is coming back from your brand. The good news is you can actually start shaping that with a different boom.
What's your brand?
My brand is design. I love design. I love creativity. So when you see my Instagram feed or my Twitter, I'm always posting something along that line. And it'll be something crazy. It'll have a picture of a lion's head, or it'll be a pattern that I saw somewhere. And it's like completely weird, but it all comes back to design and creativity.
The thing is, it's never fixed. Like, you're always evolving your brand, right? So when it comes to my brand, I've had, you know, by the time I was 25, I had 21 different jobs from all over the place. I've traveled countries. I speak different languages. How do you craft that? Well, there's some consistencies, and you'll find those out when you ask your friends and family. Just look at what are the things you're constantly drawn to, what are you passionate about, and what are your pet peeves. When you search someone's Twitter feed, you can pretty much feel that out.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so are there any public figures that you think have an excellent brand strategy?
Well, very popular, Beyonce. But if we go back a bit to Destiny's Child, she was always a little bit more front and center than everyone else. She becomes Beyonce, and it has this great brand. She gets married to Jay-Z. She comes out as Mrs. Carter. Then there's also baby pictures. So you're seeing her brand evolve and shift. So it's never this static thing. It's sort of like really reflecting what's going on in your life at the time. So it grows with you as you grow.
Isn't it, does it imply, I mean, like, she in particular is extremely controlling about her brand and wants 100% for you to feel a certain way about her.
Yes.
So at what point does it lose the spontaneity?
Or
Where-
authenticity.
Yeah, it's instead of looking at a real person, you're now looking at a machine.
Well, here's the thing. She's a celebrity, right? So there's,
Right.
there's an industry behind her. There's a machine behind that. And there's records to sell, and there's obviously billions of dollars of profit. If you take lay people, like, you know, I would say you're more public figures, but let's take us. You know, my brand is composed of everything from my education, my background, where I've lived, where I've worked, and I just share that. So my brand bubbles, so to speak, are the kind of like an outfit. You know, you've got your shoes, you've got your accessories, all these different components from what you value to your culture and to what you do come into play when you're crafting what it is that you want people to think about you.
So you guys have broken down brand building into 3 very simple steps. So what is the process?
So we have define you, we have Google you, and we have craft you.
Okay.
So thinking about the first step, so defining you, asking yourself, what is it that I want my brand to say about me? Going back to those questions again of like, what do people say about me?
Right.
So you define that, and then you move into Google you.
Right. So defining yourself is, you know, one of those things that people get frustrated with because they're like, who am I? That's such a huge question. But you really just kind of think about it. Well, what do you care about? What do you do with your everyday life? And so that's that definition. But the second thing is, if you want to see what's already out there about you and get a good sense of it, you want to Google yourself. Like, we all Google stalk anyways. So Google yourself every so often and see what works, what doesn't work. And if there's a little, like, MySpace page that needs a little love, then take it down or replace some pictures so that you're actually conveying who you are today. And that's the second piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. And you want to wrap that up with your social media toolkit. Things like your social media platforms, business cards, and even what you wear, your outfit, shoes.
Back up. Business cards?
Business
Okay.
cards.
Here's the thing. When was the last time you had a business card? People
Years.
have been asking me lately,
Yeah.
every time I go somewhere, oh, do you have a business card? Who uses business cards anymore? Like, do people still do?
Some people do. It might be appropriate in certain instances. You don't need a business card because, of course, you are the famous lady. But you may connect with people on LinkedIn. You may connect with them on Twitter because that's what you want to use.
Right.
All of that is part of your brand. So whether you use
Okay.
one or you don't, it's actually going to come into play in building that impression.
You know who actually does use business cards? Remember when Ariana Huffington was here? Oh, she gives out business cards. That's when I was like, really?
Maybe you need a business card,
Yeah.
though, right? That's a good. Okay, so you have a good question about. We were talking about this before the show about social media and etiquette around
Right.
compliments. I want you to run with this.
Okay, so you're building your brand on social media. That's what everybody does now. And this is one of the things I hate on social media, or on Twitter specifically, is when people retweet compliments.
Okay, why does this bother you so much? What if
Okay, so let's say someone tweets you at Cynthia Loyce, you are so pretty and smart, and then you go and retweet it to your 8,000 followers so that you're bragging that
Very
Joe
indulgent.
over there
Okay.
thinks that you're so pretty and smart. It's really gross. Having said that, a business friend of mine said, you know what, in this day and age, you are your own best salesperson. So maybe you might have to get over this hate for retweeting compliments. How do you do it in a not gross way, but still get your brand across? Because it's gross, people out there.
It's a little bit gross.
It's yuck,
Okay.
yuck. Well, here's the thing. Nobody likes the self-promotion machine except for the self-promoter themselves. So, you know, we wouldn't go to a cocktail party and say, like, hey, you know what so-and-so said about me? Ricardo thinks I'm fabulous. Did you see that on my Twitter? No, that doesn't happen. But what is okay is that today, whether we like it or not, endorsing other people lends to your credibility. So if I, for example, with my book, if someone reads my book and loves it and captures really well from a reader's perspective what I wish my audience would get, then every so often I'll retweet that, which helps other people get, oh, this is what people think about this, as opposed to me, the author, blatantly telling you, you know, oh my God, read my book, it's obviously fabulous. However, there's a favorite button, which is like an online thank you. And you don't have to retweet every bloody compliment. I mean, that's a little overkill. So let's just say 1 out of 10 is a nice little endorsement to say, there are other people who think I'm fabulous too.
Right. 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10.
Favoriting 1 out of 10.
Okay,
but
I'll stop
favoriting
favoriting. I chose favorite rather than retweet. If somebody says something nice, okay, fine. Point
1
taken.
out of 10, but favoriting, not retweeting.
All right.
Got it.
Really quickly
you.
now, you mentioned that you think that parents should maybe consider starting a Twitter handle for their child. Yes. Why is that?
So we talk about this, obviously, you know, from last time. We plan on doing this. I think it's more important actually to buy your domain name. So, you know, joesmith.com, which is, by the way, obviously gone. But whatever your kid is, they're coming into a digital world. So arm them with things that, you know, are a little more than just the album of their childhood memories, so that when they're ready, they can actually go out and build something and have a chance at a brand.
It's great
Isn't
advice.
that are you taking the risk of compromising them, like negatively impacting their person? What if they want to be a spy?
They still have a name.
Well, think of it like this. You used to take pictures of your kids, put them on the fridge. Now people are taking those pictures and putting them on Facebook. Completely different.
But you don't invite everyone in the world into your house.
Exactly. This is why you shouldn't post inappropriate pictures of your kids on Facebook.
All right.
Okay.
Gloria and
It's public,
Ricardo,
yeah.
thank you so much for your time. This is
Thanks
great
for having
advice. And of course, make sure you head to our website, thesocial.ca, for a recap of all these great tips, and we'll be right back after this.